Hi guys, it's Daniel here again. In this video, I wanted to talk about lifestyle factors that you can focus on to boost your intelligence. Now, if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that the main thing that I tell you to focus on is high intensity brain training, because high intensity brain training can really boost your intelligence. It already boosted my intelligence by at least 13 IQ points. But what I found is there's a lot of other lifestyle factors that can boost your intelligence as well. And if you actually focus on all of these lifestyle factors, I think you can get an equal boost to your intelligence compared to brain training. Like, you can probably get more gains from just these lifestyle factors than even high intensity brain training. So it's good to focus on both of them really, but if you don't have time for brain training, then you can also just focus on these lifestyle factors. Now, these factors basically are things that people neglect in their life. They're things that, it's not necessarily things that boost your intelligence, it's things that if you don't do them, then your intelligence will start to drop. You won't be performing at your peak. So it's not so much that you can boost your intelligence, it's more so that you can get back to your natural peak intelligence by doing these things. So the first one that I'll mention is dopamine fasting. Now, I've mentioned this before in another video, but basically what happens if you don't do dopamine fasting, basically you become more and more addicted to social media. And what happens is it basically starts to take up more and more of your RAM, more and more of your mental energy, and you actually do become addicted to it. And when you're addicted, it basically, you don't have as much mental capacity to focus on things that you really want to focus on. So what you'll find is at your job or at any endeavor that you're trying to accomplish, your mental performance will just get lower and lower if you don't do dopamine fasting. So what dopamine fasting is basically just cutting off all of these artificial dopamine addictions. Now, the main one for everyone is social media. So for me, it's Twitter and YouTube. Those are the two that I get addicted to. For you, it might be TikTok or Facebook or something like that. But basically, they all work the same way, and you can become addicted to them all in the same way. So how I do dopamine fasting is twice a month, I do a 3-day dopamine fast. 3 days is what I found to be really effective at really clearing the addiction, that after 3 days, when you come back, you're not really as addicted anymore. You'll go onto these social media platforms and you'll find that you're not that interested in them anymore. Which is a sign that your addiction has, gone back to a baseline again, which is good. So for me, what I do for 3 days, twice a month, is no social media at all. So I can't go on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or anything like that at all. And I also can't look at crypto prices or stock prices because I do trading on a regular basis. I can't look at prices as well because for me, that's another source of artificial dopamine. I also have to minimize the use of my phone and my laptop, because even just checking your phone to see if something new is there, to see if someone's messaged you or something like that, even just checking it is a form of artificial dopamine. So I also just minimize the use of my phone and my laptop. So what I do is I can only use them for work during these 3-day dopamine fasts. I can't do any entertainment on them at all. So what I normally do is I set a block of time where I'm going to work, for example, a 1-hour block, and I can use my phone and my laptop to work during that 1 hour. And when that block is done, then I have to put my phone and my laptop in a different room because I just can't use it for anything else. That's what I do during the dopamine fasting. And I found by doing these dopamine fasts, 2 dopamine fasts every month, that really I can keep my mental performance at a peak level. And I tend to not get too addicted to social media or anything like that. And even addicted to checking stock prices and crypto prices and things like that. These sorts of addictions can just take you over without you noticing it. And without you noticing, your mental performance will be at a lower level. So really, you just need to make this part of your schedule to do dopamine fasting, and then you'll be able to keep your mental performance at a peak level. So that's the first lifestyle factor that can help keep your mental performance at a peak level. Now, there's a couple of other factors as well that I like to focus on. So the next one is high intensity cardio. Now, high intensity cardio training has 2 benefits, of course. The main benefit is for your overall body's health. But the other benefit is for your mental performance as well. So there's many studies that have shown that you can boost your mental performance by doing high intensity cardio. But for me, I'm not so sure if it's actually boosting your mental performance or again, just keeping you back to your peak natural level of intelligence. So what I try to do is at least once or twice a week is 10 minutes of very high intensity cardio training. So by very high intensity, I mean my heart rate is at 190 beats for 10 solid minutes. So by just doing this once or twice a week, then I actually improve my fitness quite a lot. I think this is actually the optimal way to improve your fitness, is very small amounts of extremely high intensity cardio, and then the rest of the time you just do moderate intensity cardio, for example, just walking. So I try and do 10,000 steps per day, and then when I combine that with just once or twice a week, 10 minutes of very high intensity cardio training, then really I can get the maximum fitness gains just from that with the minimum amount of effort. And what this does for my mental performance as well is it clears the cortisol from your mind. So it basically reduces your stress levels. And by reducing your stress level, then it frees up your RAM and it just frees up your mental capacity. So again, it brings you back to your peak mental performance. But there's one other benefit of the high intensity cardio, and that is that it can stimulate BDNF in your brain. So BDNF is brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is basically fertilizer for your brain. So by doing the high intensity brain training, you can actually fertilize your brain to grow new connections and to become more intelligent. So this is why I focus on it in terms of the lifestyle factors for maintaining and boosting my intelligence, because it can be quite effective. Because there's not really many other ways where you can get BDNF, where you can basically fertilize your brain to become stronger and grow new connections. There's not many other ways to do it. I think possibly that high intensity brain training does it to a certain extent, but high intensity cardio is basically the only other way that's been studied to boost your BDNF levels in your brain, in a natural way at least. And the other lifestyle factor that I like to focus on is journaling. Now, it's not the journaling that you've probably heard of, so it's not just journaling about your day or anything like that. Basically, how I do journaling, it's just getting stuff off your mind that shouldn't be there. Because what happens in your day-to-day life is you will have these things that happen to you and you'll just think about them, but they really have no place in your brain. They have no place in your thoughts, because most of what happens to you basically means nothing. Like, you shouldn't even be thinking about it. Someone might make a negative comment to you or something like that, or something in your business might not go correctly. Like, you might have a bit of bad luck, for example. There's no point thinking about bad luck. Like, that has no place in your life, because obviously you can't go back in time and prevent the bad luck from happening. So that's what I use journaling for, is just to get things off my mind that shouldn't be there. So how you do it is basically you just get a piece of paper or you type it out in a Word document, and you just basically try and clear your mind of all these negative thoughts and negative emotions and anything on your mind that shouldn't be there. So it can be things on your to-do list, it can be emotions that you're currently feeling, it can be just negative things that happen to you during the day or during the week, things like that. And basically you're just writing it out. You're not judging it, you're not questioning it or anything like that. You're just writing it out. And by writing it out, what it does is it just clears it from your mind. That these nonsense things that you shouldn't be thinking about, basically they just vanish from your mind. And by doing that, it frees up your mental capacity so that you can perform at your peak performance again. Now, there's multiple ways to do it, this journaling. So you can write it out by hand. That's the slowest way, so I don't recommend that. You can type it out in a Word document. That's pretty good, because normally you can type faster than you can write by hand. So basically you can get more words out in the same amount of time. But what I found is more effective is verbally journaling. So basically you're just talking out loud to yourself. Of course, you probably need to have privacy when you do this. But basically you're just talking out loud and you're just journaling out loud into the air. So you're saying these same thoughts, anything that's just on your mind that shouldn't be there, any negative emotions, negative things that happen to you, anything on your to-do list, anything like that that you're just thinking about that probably shouldn't be on your mind. you just start talking about it. And you can talk faster than you can type. So you can do the journaling a lot faster verbally because you don't actually need to keep a record of what you're journaling. This isn't some record keeping that you're going to go back and look at. That's not what this journaling is. This is just basically getting it off your mind. And once it's off your mind, then it's gone. Like if you're doing this in a Word document, once you're done, you just delete it. If you're writing it out by hand, once you're done, throw the piece of paper in the bin. Because these are things that you don't need on your mind. You're just getting rid of them. So that's why verbal journaling can be effective, because you're just speaking it out into the air and then it's gone. And you can do that a lot more efficiently than you can with typing and writing. So yeah, what I found is by journaling, you can really boost your mental performance because, again, on a day-to-day basis, these things just build up in your mind and you don't really notice that they've built up until you do the journaling and you clear it all out, and then you see how much better your mind is performing, and then you see that your mind is back to its peak performance. So most people watching this, I bet you don't know how much you need to do journaling right now, but if you just do it, you'll clear your mind and you'll boost your mental performance back to its peak level. So those are just a few little quick tips for you guys. If you like this content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep you guys updated with more content. Cheers, guys.